Today, we're going to completely flip the script on how you think about your own body. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to demystify the digestive system and reveal this absolutely fascinating, hidden world inside your gut that literally dictates your overall health. For decades, we've kind of just thought of our digestive tract as a basic processing pipe, right? Food goes in, nutrients get extracted, and the rest goes out. But the reality is just so much more profound than that. It's this intricate, living, breathing ecosystem that influences almost everything about how you feel, how you think, and even how you age.
Let's kick things off by anchoring our modern, cutting-edge science with some seriously ancient wisdom. Back in 400 BC, Hippocrates famously declared, "Death sits in the bowels." It's honestly incredible to think that this profound link between human health and the intestine has been recognized for over 2 millennia. Long before anyone even dreamed up the microscope, ancient healers just intuitively sensed what genetic sequencing is now proving as hard scientific fact. They understood that the gut was the true epicenter of human wellness, and that's a concept that modern medicine is really just now beginning to fully embrace and understand at a molecular level.
And we see the evidence of this profound link everywhere today. Millions of people suffer daily from these really common macro-level digestive disorders. We're talking about structural and inflammatory issues like GERD and painful peptic ulcers, along with chronic conditions like IBS, IBD, and celiac disease. But here is the absolutely critical thing to understand. While these are the painful symptoms we actually feel on the surface, the true root of these issues, and more importantly, their ultimate solutions, often lies hidden much, much deeper within us, down at a microscopic scale.
So, just how deep and complex does this hidden world get? Well, get this. Your gut microbiome is so incredibly vast that it carries about 150 times more genes than your entire human genome. Just let that sink in for a second. The genetic material of the microbes living inside you vastly outnumbers your own human DNA. From a purely genetic standpoint, you are actually far more microbe than you are human. We're essentially walking, talking host planets for a microscopic civilization that's constantly operating, completely silently, right beneath our awareness.
To really wrap your head around that scale, we are talking about roughly 100 trillion microbes living on and inside the human body. And the vast majority of these guys reside right there in your gastrointestinal tract. Because of the sheer volume and the massive life-sustaining role they play in our physiology, scientists now actually classify the gut microbiome as a newly discovered vital organ. Think about it like this. If you were to extract all these microbes and put them together on a scale, they'd weigh about as much as your brain. Just like your heart or your lungs, you fundamentally cannot survive without this hidden organ.
Now, what makes it a vital organ isn't just its size. It's how deeply connected it is to the rest of you. Scientists call this connection the gut-organ axis. You can think of it as a massive biological superhighway. A harmonious, balanced gut doesn't just sit there quietly digesting your lunch. It actively acts as a command center. It's constantly sending out chemical text messages to your brain, your heart, your skin, and your immune system. It regulates your mood, it fights off infections, it keeps your heart pumping smoothly. Basically, a healthy gut forms the absolute foundation of a completely healthy body.
But this is a fragile ecosystem, and it constantly teeters between two opposing states, eubiosis and dysbiosis. It's kind of like two rival factions battling for control of your health. Eubiosis is that state of ultimate harmony. It acts as your body's elite defense force, making sure you have a robust gut lining, a highly responsive immune system, and a perfectly regulated metabolism. On the flip side, you have dysbiosis. This is the chaotic villain of our story. When dysbiosis takes over, this microbial imbalance directly drives systemic diseases, sparks widespread chronic inflammation, and just wreaks havoc, causing severe metabolic disruption across the board. So how exactly does this elite defense force actually protect you? Well, it all comes down to microscopic manufacturing. The good bacteria in your gut ferment the dietary carbs you eat into these highly potent, life-sustaining chemicals called metabolites. Take short-chain fatty acids, for instance, like butyrate. Butyrate is literally the fuel that keeps your colon cells alive, all while stepping in to regulate your insulin and your body weight. Then you've got indole derivatives. Think of these as powerful, custom-built antioxidants that actually travel all the way up to your brain to protect your neurons. And they're also regulating your cholesterol with bile acid metabolites and manufacturing essential vitamins like B and K to repair damaged DNA. Your gut is literally functioning as a microscopic pharmaceutical factory, perfectly tailored to your exact needs.
But unfortunately, when that microscopic factory goes offline, things get very dark very quickly. Dysbiosis takes over, and that biological superhighway we talked about earlier, it becomes a conduit for destruction. An imbalanced gut microbiome doesn't just give you a mild stomach ache, it directly fuels severe whole body issues. We're talking about major cardiovascular diseases, serious liver inflammation, and even profound cognitive decline and depression. The chaos and inflammation that originate in the gut rapidly spread through those exact same communication pathways, essentially poisoning the rest of the body system by system.
Let's actually look at how this builds into specific, devastating illnesses at a cellular level. Take obesity, for example. Certain types of obesogenic microbes can actually suppress a crucial enzyme in your body called AMPK. Think of AMPK as your cellular fuel gauge. When everything is balanced, it tells your body to burn fat for energy. But when these bad microbes suppress this gauge, your body literally stops burning fat and starts aggressively hoarding it instead. Or consider hypertension. When your gut fails to produce enough of those short-chain fatty acids we mentioned, it fails to stimulate the specific cellular receptors that act as the brakes for your blood pressure. Without those chemical signals to hit the brakes, your blood pressure just naturally spikes.
It is absolutely fascinating and honestly a little terrifying just how many major systemic threats trace directly back to this environment. Beyond obesity and hypertension, specific bad bacteria produce a really dangerous compound called TMAO. This directly drives the buildup of arterial plaque, accelerating heart disease. In type 1 diabetes, the loss of good bacteria strips away the protective mucus lining of your gut. Meanwhile, high-fat diets trigger rapid shifts that ruin your body's insulin signaling, driving type 2 diabetes. We even see it in cancer, where an overabundance of specific harmful bacteria acts almost like a biological cloaking device, actively suppressing your immune system so tumors can grow unchecked. It really is wild. Everything traces back to the composition of your intestinal flora. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, man, if my gut is this messed up, fixing years of a bad diet must take years to correct, right? Actually, no way. The reality is absolutely astonishing. Your gut is remarkably, beautifully adaptable. Imagine making a major dietary shift today, say swapping a heavy meat-based diet for a high-fiber plant-based one. Within just 24 hours, major, measurable shifts begin happening in the structure of your microbial community. And by 48 hours, the entire composition of your microbiome is fundamentally and reproducibly altered. It is incredibly empowering to realize that just changing your fiber or fat intake can radically reshape your body's internal architecture in literally 1 to 2 days. So how do we actively use that rapid adaptation to our absolute advantage? It really comes down to 3 simple foundational steps to feed and protect your vital organ. First step, consider fasting. Giving your digestive system a break actually hits the reset button on your intestinal immune responses and promotes healthy weight loss. Second, prioritize complex carbohydrates. You want things like resistant starches because these travel deep into your gut completely intact. And third, dietary fiber. This is absolutely crucial. It's the non-negotiable fuel that your good bacteria desperately need to ferment and produce those vital short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate. By providing this specific fuel, you're literally handing your microscopic defense force the exact ammunition it needs to restore order and get your body back to a state of eubiosis. To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with a pretty provocative thought. Knowing that 100 trillion microbes are waiting right now inside you for their next set of instructions, what are you going to feed your most important hidden organ for your next meal? You hold the ultimate power to dictate whether those microbes act as your body's elite defenders or its most dangerous enemies. And it all starts, quite literally, with exactly what you choose to put on your plate. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.